Welcome to the podcast. We're going to be discussing in what ways does your media product develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products. So, in this discussion is Jonathan, an existing media student, as well as Rico. They are unfamiliar with reading rock magazines, but hopefully they'll be able to see connotations that I have expressed. So, firstly, what do you guys see first glance?
Well, first of all, from my point of view, I really like the text that you use. The font is like really easy to read. Same with the colors, they really stand out. They're really vibrant. And referring to the Enemy magazines that I've got up now on my screen.
What kind of statement did you think I was trying to make by using bold fonts?
I mean, looking at the fonts that you use, I think it's just a way to get out to the audience. I mean, rock is a really bold, it's very bold, yeah, and outgoing genre. And people might think it's kind of loud and just outgoing. And this type of font you use kind of shouts it out and just informs the audience what genre it is.
Yeah, I was trying to challenge connotations of rock by showing that rock has a rebellious nature, which is shown through the masthead in really bold font, especially with the word smash. It just gives ideas of rock being of a rebellious nature and really dangerous.
I mean, like looking at existing magazines that I have, I can see that they do use bold fonts in it, as well as what you do. It does anchor your genre really well.
What do you guys think of the photography used on the front cover?
I don't really know. I mean, there's nothing there that will show me that it's like a rock magazine apart from the font.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing. I wouldn't say that there's nothing, but the image used doesn't really express the form that it's like a rock magazine.
Yeah, I was
When I
trying.
first saw it, I was kind of confused about what kind of genre it was until I read the headlines and the cell lines, because the image didn't really like bring the rock sense out, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I can see what you mean.
Rock is a really difficult genre to anchor through the image. I mean, like if you was able to get the guitar in there somehow, in your image, maybe it would have been better. But looking at like existing magazines, not many of them have like a prop in there, and I think like the audience would just know like who they are, assuming that like they would know the artists. Whereas people who don't really know like the artists, it's quite hard to tell whether it's a rock magazine or not through the image itself.
The message that I was trying to convey through the use of the image was I was trying to break away from the rock stereotype that male and masculine are the dominant figures in rock society. So I chose to use a female figure in order to attract the male audience, as well as giving females a voice in the society of rock. I also done this through the use of direct eye contact, which breaks down the fourth wall and creates a connection between the viewer as well as the person on the front cover.
Yeah, I think that works really well as you do use that convention. I mean, a lot of magazines, most magazines use direct address.
Yeah. Do you guys see connections between the cell lines that are used and existing media products?
I mean, like I mentioned, the bold fonts and stuff. What you mentioned, so you have like the gigs and you have the new artists, and this ties into what they have in real magazines. So they do mention when people have new albums or when there's new performances happening. So yeah, I think this works really well, and you do come through with your front cover and what you have on the content.
Right, so moving on to the contents page, what do you guys think about this at first glance?
I actually think it looks pretty good, to be honest. I like the placement of images that you used and the photography used as well. And as well as that, like referring to like other content pages from like Enemy and Q, you use kind of like the same conventions, as in the same way that you separate the text.
Yeah.
And kind of the same font as well, like the same kind of style, like how you laid it out, how you use columns.
Yeah, so rather than breaking away from what the audience is already familiar with, I tie that in so it isn't strange to them and so they can easily exchange between one magazine and another.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, like it's really clear on where everything is, so the audience can see where the things that are featured in the magazine are and where the regulars are.
Yeah, it's really easy to navigate through.
What do you guys think of the inclusion of the DPS in the contents page? Would you see that in existing magazines? Would you see the DPS being used in the contents page?
I haven't really seen any magazines that use this. Most of them have like where that is, they'll have like a subscribe thing.
Yeah.
So they would have like an image of the front cover.
Yeah.
I mean, like you could say this does challenge the genre convention, but I think it challenges it really well because it helps draw attention to the feature.
The main article.
Yeah, the main article. So I think this is a really good feature of your contents page.
One of the key points I was trying to express through the use of this magazine is getting the audience involved in the Rock Society. And so if you look to the bottom right, you'll be able to see that there's a lot of audience heavy feedback. So you can subscribe, you can follow them on Twitter, Facebook, as well as the reviews given by the audience. So that's what I was trying to convey. Would you see that normally in existing magazines?
I think you'd see that a lot nowadays because it's important that because the audience is always important to a magazine because that's where the money comes from. So obviously, if you interact with them well, then you can give the right content to them and just deliver a really good service that's worth their subscription.
Yeah, so it's important to exchange feedback with them through social media.
Yeah, especially now in this generation, you know, like the younger generation are now using like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. So by them like liking or following the page of this magazine, they'll be able to like receive they'll be able to see their blogs, see what's going on, and they'll like see daily insight, maybe what's new to come. You know?
Yeah. What do you guys think of the masthead use? So rather than going with the normal contents, features, what do you guys think of my inclusion of the crack?
I mean, it might be difficult for first-time readers to identify that is the contents.
Yeah.
Maybe you could have had contents in small font.
Yeah.
Like I see where you're trying to link Smash and the crack to, and I think it's a good challenging convention. But I think it would be good if you had content somewhere small on the page for people who might not be familiar to the layout of your magazine.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
Even though you haven't got the word contents there, I think it's like going back. It's really simplistic. It's easy to navigate through, and the features and the regulars. It's like easy to tell that this is the contents page.
Yeah, I think it gives out it's really easy to notice. Yeah, what you said.
Even if you don't read this magazine, if you're a previous rock magazine reader, you'll see like the same layout. So just like first glance, you'll be like, oh, this is where everything is. I see that they tried to follow this kind of style. I know where everything is.
What do you think of the photography used? How do you think it challenges conventions of the rock genre?
I mean, it might. I don't think it really does challenge. I mean,
you think it supports maybe?
Sometimes they have it's done in the studio, so you have the white background.
Yeah.
But I think I see where you see the challenging convention where the majority of rock magazines use a image from performances. Live performance, and I think just in general the images are fine. But having an image of live performances is normally what they use in the content.
Yeah.
Maybe you could have included some conventions of rock, maybe a guitar, a microphone, something that represents rock. Because most of them are just images. Both of the images is just like an image of someone. Maybe you could have included someone singing or playing the guitar, maybe on a stage.
Yeah, just to anchor that music genre, right?
Yeah, but besides that, the images are fine.
Yeah, images are great.
one of the things I was trying to express with the use of the image underneath the features is I tried to capture in a wide shot the surrounding of the brick wall to show instability and danger within the rock genre, and to like support the attitude of rebellion and just ruthlessness of the genre and danger expressed.
It's really good. Really good representation.
Finally, moving on to the DPS. Can I get your views?
Opinions.
Yeah, views and opinions.
I mean, like, I like how the image takes up both pages. It's not just like, it's not static. There's not much, too much to look at. It's very simple, and you know where the image is, you know who's featured, and you know who the article is talking about.
Yeah.
And just in general, I like the layout of everything. But it is kind of hard to read some of the things near the bottom.
Yeah, I can see where you're
at. But everything else is really clear and is very easy to read.
Yeah, same with Rico. I like how like the image takes up both pages. It's not just one page image, the other page information. I think that really attracts like the audience's attention. And going back to the contents page, how you've got the image of the double page spread there, and you've got Morgan Hilaire there. That's like in bold writing, and then you got the typography where you've changed the O and the I into red. Sorry.
Yeah.
So that really stands out to the audience that this is the main article. This is this is the special thing about the magazine. You should read this. And conventions, use the page numbers. You got the website at the bottom. You've got the large letter at the start of a paragraph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are basic conventions used in other rock magazines, not even rock, in general magazines actually.
Yeah, and I can see how you use you've got your house style throughout all three pages. So you have your color scheme, which is black, black and red, and white. Yeah.
Black,
and
red.
this
Yeah.
goes throughout the whole thing. Again, you use really similar fonts. So you have from the front cover, you use the same font as what you use for the double page spread, and this helps link the pages, and I think that it works really well.
Yeah, I mean, if you had different texts and different fonts, then it would just look awkward, because it wouldn't be.
It wouldn't link, yeah.
Yeah, it would look really weird. But since you use the same ones, it's it looks really good.
Can I get your opinions on the wardrobe used within the image? Do you think it expresses connotations of rock and the genre in the same way media products today would?
I mean, for rock, I think they would. It looks alright, I guess. But for rock, I think you'd bring in more of flannel shirts, and then they would wear stuff like you've got boots or chains that they have.
Stereotypes.
Yeah,
you could say.
Yeah, more of the stereotypes of denim makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the chain works well. I do see some rock magazines where they have a gold chain or necklace. Maybe if you could have added or edited in some tattoos, because that's a really strong convention of a rock artist.
Yeah.
But in general, I think it's a good image. Again, you have the direct address that a lot of magazines use, and again, this helps engage the reader with what it's being discussed in the article.
All right. I think that's it. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for your